started for that very reason. And now it's festering in everybody. Like they can't wait to get online. Think about how many times you're looking at your phone. Your face is in the phone like a zombie all the time. You have a 4-inch universe that you're spending more time in than you are in the real world. Looking for everybody else to give you a dopamine hit, like your post, or you get to like somebody else's post, hoping that they like that you liked it. Again, you're doing all the wrong things, and you're trying to apply that same logic to trading. You want an emotional response. You want a dopamine hit. You want an immediate TikTok experience where you did something in the market, you entered the trade, so now you want to see a 100 handle run, just like that. And when it doesn't happen, or it's slowly moving, you're uncomfortable. I'm trying to prevent that kind of stuff with Caleb. I don't want him doing the toxic things I've done. I'm trying to be the best guide, but still be his dad. And I have to admit, it's very challenging because in the past, and I had a little bit of it last Thursday, I had a blast, but I had to get that out of me. But I'm trying very hard to be balanced because he knows what I'm capable of. He also has seen me in the real world when I had to do things when people were making threats to me or our family. Like I am not afraid of things like that. If something's in front of me, I'm going to run it over. I'm going to be a bulldozer and run it over. I don't cower from nothing. I don't hide from nothing. I'm in your face immediately. I want to neutralize whatever is the problem. I'm neutralizing it. It's not going to hang around. It's not going to fester. Let's go. You want to go? Let's go. That's not his mentality. And I told him, I said, when you start making money, I do not, the biggest thing, if you want to impress Dad and you want to live up to my hopes for you, I told him, I said, I want you to have more control over yourself than I have. I want you to be able to say nothing that anything in the internet has ever bothered you. Because the way you live your life, once you get acclimated to this and you're successful, when you get to that point, the thoughts and opinions of others should never be a reason to punish yourself. Because when you entertain other people's opinion about you or me or whatever it is you're learning how to do, when you're making money, what does it matter? Does it really matter what people think when you are living on your own money that you earned using this information? Why would you punish yourself for other people's opinions? Because that's what you're doing. When you get mad about that stuff, that's why I try to tell everybody, you think I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm not a mad person. Now, I'm mad when people say they tried to do this stuff and they haven't really put a real good effort into it. That's fake. That's false. It's a lie. And I'm forcing my son in this test tube where he has absolutely no latitude to be able to say, well, I couldn't do it because. No, that we don't have any room for that. You are in the pressure cooker with me. And you're in front of the entire world and they're watching this. You asked for it and now you got it. But you're going to do it the way it needs to be done. And you have to make sure that you don't fall victim into finding dopamine, sense of accomplishment, by having other people tell you, wow, you are a good trader. You know what tells you you're a good trader? You don't have to go to work. That's better than anybody telling you a message. They could have all the emojis in the world. That ain't the same thing as getting up and saying, well, I ain't got to go in traffic today, and make in one trade what you would earn in gross income over 3, 4, 6 months of your job. That's how you feel success as a trader. Not, I need somebody outside of myself to tell me I'm a good trader. Oh, you're ICT junior. Oh, you're going to be the next best thing. And, don't think that way, son. Don't even have expectations to have that. I am impressed. I am pleased and I am proud of you, son. If you just do what's laid in front of you and you find contentment in that. That you don't have to do more than that. The world is your oyster. You'll be able to do whatever you want to do once you figure out yourself. But just do what I'm laying down in front of you. If you just do that, you've done far more than I ever hoped for. And you don't never have to impress me. You have already done everything I've expected of you. Because then if I have to lay my head down for the last time and I don't have any more time here, I can rest my head knowing that I have left this with you and your brothers and your sister and your mother. They're okay. It doesn't matter what happens. You can do it. That's how I think about this. I don't want you being another ICT. ICT's run its course. I've already said that I'm putting it down the end of this year. I'm doing that my own way. I don't want people hanging on me. I don't want people thinking I'm a celebrity. And honestly, I see all of the mentions that happen. Like if I go on the YouTube channel, it'll say comments, which I see, all of them. The ignorant ones, I just banned a person. I don't ever see them again. You don't realize that you're banned, but you are. Your comment, when you look at the video, you'll see your comment still there. I never see it. Anything past that, I'll never see it again. I don't have time for you. You're insignificant to me. You're not even an ant. You're not even a gnat. But there's also this little thing, mentions. So there's comments and there's mentions. And once a week, I'll go through it and I'll hit it and I'll scroll through. I want to comment on everybody. But when I do leave comments on individual channels, generally, they treat me like a celebrity, and I don't like that. Otherwise, if I wasn't treated that way, I would be just like one of the guys and I would comment like everybody else does. But you know what I'm talking about. If I've left a comment, like immediately it gets pinned, and then there's 1,500 people comes behind there. Oh, it's ICT, it's Michael, he left a comment. Like I'm some fucking Elvis or something. Like I'm literally nobody. I'm nobody. And it makes me uncomfortable. And I don't want you aspiring to do that, Caleb. I don't want you to have that aspiration to be, that's your goal. Your goal should be, I don't need to work for money, and money is a tool. I don't have to wrestle with employers. I don't have to go through the rat race and have them steal any more time. You're in your 20s. You're young. You literally could carve this out, and by the time you're 30, be ridiculously rich. Friggin' ridiculously rich, okay? And you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to get on here and trade live in front of other people, go ahead. I would love that. I would love that. Viagra all day long. That would absolutely, I would love it. Do I want you to do it? I'm not asking you to do that. So don't think that you have to live up to that. But if you choose to do that, man, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. But that's not what I hope for you. I hope for you to not have to work for your money. That's what I want. I want you to feel comfortable knowing that you can pay your way through this world and not have to ask somebody if you can have a day off or a vacation, and they ain't paying you too little for your time. You do that, you have met every expectation I have for you. My goal is for you to not have to work and that you live on your own steam, your own efforts. And you don't get reckless with it. You don't try to be a high roller. Don't try to be a show off. Don't brag. Don't talk down to people like I did when I was 20 years old. I was new money. And that was me coping with the uncomfortable state of I wanted to flex on everybody. Because if they knew all the things I was wrestling with and the embarrassment and shame I had because my wife left me for a 40-year-old man, that was embarrassing. That was shameful to me. So I hid it by being a jerk to other people. And the people that I loved and that were friends of mine, I lavished them with money and gifts because I didn't want them to walk away from me. I wanted them to make me feel wanted and liked and appreciated. But I had to pay for it to feel it. Is that genuine? No. So I don't want you to fall in the trap, because as soon as you start making big money and people that know you see it, you need to be aware of who your real friends are, because your real friends won't change. They won't ask you for anything, and they won't increase the intensity about wanting to be around you. The ones that do that, that's the ones that's going to stab you in the back. That's the ones that are going to try to take you. for a ride or take advantage of you. And I'll reserve the rest of the stuff tomorrow when we're talking over price. I've said enough. We've been here for a while, and I'm probably going to have to delete a lot of members' comments they were complaining about today. That's okay. But this is the stuff that you're going to wrestle with as a trader, okay? And the sooner you identify what they are and you journal them, and we work through coping skills this week on how to overcome all of them. If you're a viewer, you're eavesdropping in this lecture I'm holding with my son. I don't cover the thing you're wrestling with. Say we get to Friday, and then say sometime over the weekend, you feel like you have a unique experience and you feel comfortable trusting me that, in anonymity, where you don't have to reveal yourself. You can create a burner email address and leave a comment to me, like saying, this is what I wrestle with. I won't know your name, but I would love the opportunity to have something that I don't cover here. And if I have a way of mentioning what I would do to deal with it, I would love to have that opportunity to do that. I would never say who said it. I would never, pretend to be a counselor or a psychologist. I'm not claiming to be that. I'm not out to fix it. But the ones I'm going to cover this week, I think, are the most paramount ones. And a lot of them are going to be very similar to the ones I'm going to talk to and speak on. But the main thing is not to be fearful of identifying those problem characteristics and traits within yourself. Because if you're insecure as a person, and mine was insecurity, it will manifest itself in your traits. And then you'll beat yourself up protecting that demon of insecurity or hurt or fear or anxiety about something, or you're in a problem relationship. Whatever that is, you're going to guard that thing and you're going to beat yourself up. Oh, you're stupid. You don't know how to trade. You can't learn how to do this, or this stuff doesn't work. You're going to externalize all of the results instead of saying, see, this is further evidence that I'm manifesting all this toxic stuff I'm holding on to, because I'm making decisions based on periods when I lean on that stuff in a state of normalcy. You punish yourself every day. You don't realize it, but you are. And just think about how many times you think or say toxic things all day. The average person says over 300 negative things per day. No way, no way. Well, I can tell you what, I can do about 15 times that if I talk too much, right? But the average person thinks and says over 300 negative things a day. It could be self-centered, attacking themselves, or doubt. Perfect example, I was telling Caleb, I know we're supposed to end the video, but it just jumped on my head. I was explaining this to my son. I said, listen, the channel will grow and it'll alleviate some of the pressure you're feeling while you're learning, okay? It'll probably be around $10,000 a month when we get to Thanksgiving or just after Thanksgiving. And he shook his head like, no way, no way. And I'm like, are you nuts? Like, I already know as soon as I start putting videos up there, all of the members here that watch on this channel, just morbid curiosity is going to take their attention over there. And even if they just watch it for a few minutes, they're watching it, okay? So they'll see what it's all about, whether they stay or not. It's not important, but people will watch it because most of the people want to see how you're evolving in it. And then they're going to feel comfortable about their self because they're going to see that you're going through the same things that they're going through. Because they look at you as my child, like my son should not have any adversities because he's ICT, son. His dad is ICT. So therefore, it's unreasonable to expect him or any of his offspring to have any hardship in learning how to do this because he's ICT's son. Like that's somehow an advantage. We're all human beings. We all wrestle with stuff. We all wrestle with stuff. And they're going to have the unique perspective because you said you were willing to do this, which I'm astonished by, but you said you were willing to do it. And you're going to be very candid about what you're feeling, what you're fearful of, what you're making a big deal out of that may or may not be valid. And they're going to take a whole lot of solace in that because they are going to be able to see that, wow, this is the same shit I'm thinking. I've been thinking the whole time I'm stupid for feeling this way. And here's ICT's son, even doing the same things, thinking and worrying about the same things. But they'll see, this is how I'm going to coach and teach you how to go through that. And then they can apply that same logic to themselves. Whether or not it works for them, I'm not promising that. But you're my son, so I'm giving you, this is the solution I'm supposing that you should use. Or if it's something I went through, this is how I overcame it. Or this is what you should do to work around it till you get better at it. And then your success will counter a lot of the things that you have as a problem. The problem is he's a male. And I've seen a few times where, as a young man, and especially as a little boy, given enough rope, he'll run wild. Like he'll go wild. Out of all my kids, I'm impressed that he's the one that's wanting to do this. I thought for sure it was going to be Cody. It's not. And I thought Cameron, because he's very competitive in sports, but it's not. And now he's the only one that said, I want a second chance at it, Dad. Because they found out that it's not easy. And it's easy to say, you know what, I'm just going to lay it down. I got Dad, he's always here. And whenever I want to, he'll gladly want to teach me. And I've been frustrated because I've been wanting them, just one of them, just go through the ropes, find your model, and make money. And your brothers and your sister will be like, oh, I want to do that now. It's like anything else. You give one kid an ice cream or a toy, they're all gonna want to listen. I'm a good girl, Mommy. I'm a good girl, Daddy. What do you want me to do? I clean my room. They're going to do all the things that you want a kid to do when one child is given a reward. So you're going to see what it's like for him. You're going to hear it. You're going to see the struggles. You're going to see all that stuff. But I told him I don't want him to get cocky. I don't want to see arrogance. I told him, I said, if I see you do that, I'm done. I told him, I said, how you conduct yourself in the real world when I'm not around you. Because right now, you don't even have a video on there, and already there's 20,000 people subscribed to your channel. When you start seeing more traffic and there's more interest around you, people will want to befriend you. They're going to be like, oh, they're going to say everything to blow smoke up your ass to make you feel like that you're something you're not. Don't allow that. Don't allow it. You just stay who you are. You're humble, Caleb, that's it. You're not trying to be ICT 2.0, Mr. Ego, Kid Ego. You're not trying to do all that stuff. If you never set that mark that high, nobody will expect you to live up to it. And guess what that means? You're liberated from all that stuff. Everybody wants me to go out there and do the impossible things. If you never, ever do those things, they will never hold you in that regard. And anything that you share publicly, as long as it's a person with common sense, they'll say, wow, that's an interesting experience that you shared. It may not be an invitation for other people to mimic what you're doing and try to copy it and say, well, that's the path I'm going to go. But they'll be morbidly curious to see what it is. And the pressure that you're feeling from your job, that will reduce a little bit. And then that deficit and stress and pressure that you feel while you're working will give you more energy, and it'll stoke the fires for you to study more, which does what? It shifts all the concern and pressure away from what everybody's used to doing, which is the 9-to-5 rat race. And then you'll start feeding that secondary hustle, which is learning how to trade. This is why I tell all of you as my students, once you learn your model, once you learn it, I don't have a problem with you going out there and doing YouTube channels and running up, a subscriber base where people are watching you use it. I encourage that. Number one, it's further solidifies with more testimonial and proof that I have profitable students using what I taught. It doesn't just work in my hands, it works in the students that put the effort into it. But you also, while you're growing, because you're not going to be a millionaire overnight, some of you may never become a millionaire. You might just make a couple $1,000s here and there, a couple times a year. And hey, it's better than not having money at all, right? Let's be real. Not everybody's going to be rich from it. I don't claim you're going to be rich from it, but you have the potential to make as much as you want. But while you're learning how to get better at it, and until you can arrive at, I don't need to work anymore, it would be foolish for you not, if you have the disposition and personality to live stream. I don't believe I do. It may seem like I do, but I don't believe I do. I like to talk in pre-recorded sessions because I've already said certain things in this live stream that I would have liked to edit out because I felt like I was being too personal or maybe mentioning things that may upset people that are wrestling with certain things. I would have cut that stuff out, like substance abuse and stuff like that. Like I wish I could go back and take that part out. That's what I'm thinking in my head as I'm talking to you. I would have edited that part out. And some of you have been like, I'm glad you said it. But there's a lot of people that would come forward and say, I wish you wouldn't have said that. Or they'll claim, you stop trying to be a psychologist, you're a crackpot anyway. Like, you're always going to have some clown that's going to be argumentative. But I want Caleb to know that he doesn't have to live up to high, lofty expectations. And I'm helping him lay down a foundation of what is reasonable, what is now in an area where it's going to be problematic. And he has to conduct himself now as a public figure because I've been in public and people have seen me in public. And sometimes they get out of their cars, they're walking around with their phone and they're filming me and taking pictures of me and my wife. And wow, ICT, can you, and I'm like, ugh. And it is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't want to be like that. And I certainly don't want my son like that. And it's uncomfortable. You don't know what these people are going to do. They may pretend like they're wanting to take a picture with you, just get close enough to hurt you or your family, and I don't want those problems. So I told Caleb, you're not a celebrity. You're not trying to be a celebrity. And as soon as you start carrying yourself arrogantly, I'm done. You'll know as much as you know, and it'll be it. And that's what I want for him. And if he lives humbly and he learns to make a good living, he can do whatever he wants to do online and not be, celebrity status. The problem is I've invited listeners to feel like I'm approachable. Like you feel like you really know me. And unfortunately, some people have taken a step too far, thinking, I really like Michael. He's a nice person. He's going to appreciate me going up and meeting him. I don't feel comfortable with that. That makes me scared because I don't know why you're coming up to me, what your intent is. And it may not be a good intention. So that's why I handle these situations the way I do. And I may not come across in a manner that seems like that nice guy on the internet, that mild-mannered Mr. Rogers voice or whatever. You hear, given enough time in a live setting where I can go off the rails. And if I'm with my family and you're coming up to me, I'm not Mr. Rogers, okay? I'm literally not Mr. Rogers. I'm ready to do something to you because I don't know what your intentions are. So this is a little reminder for folks that take it upon themselves to go too far. I love all of you as my students. I do. But that's not an invitation to encroach on my personal and private space and my family. And I'm reminding Caleb of that because social media has a wonderful element to it, but it also has a weird dark side where people think that they can say things, make up things, lie, do things that are not true for the sake of selling some storyline, okay? And also, because of that, people that like you, that have an unhealthy level of adoration towards you, are willing to do things that are not sane just to defend your honor, and you've never asked them to do it. So you're not a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a hero. I'm the anti-guru. I'm doing everything a guru wouldn't do. I'm pouring myself out here where I could be making millions of dollars doing it. I'm doing it for free. And I'm sharing the most intimate private lectures that I would give to my son. You all have the ability to sit and listen to it or ignore it. You don't have to be here. But if it wasn't for him saying he wants this, like I said, I'm pouring myself into it. And I'm going to do what I believe he needs to know and how to learn how to do this. But he has to learn the way I believe it's done best. And I don't want anybody else's opinion about it, because if you haven't made millions of dollars, you don't have a soapbox to stand on. So don't tell me. He's my kid. My intentions are better than yours. And if he fails, I have other things I can do without giving him money to make sure he's successful. So it's not dependent on him learning how to trade. He doesn't have to be a good trader that makes millions of dollars. If he just makes a little bit of money, okay, just that little bit of money, he can do a lot with in the right hands with other people. So, and that discussion will be covered when we get into later points of his progress. But using a YouTube channel to augment and provide an income in addition while you're learning as a student, that's not my son. Okay, if you want to have a crutch while you're learning, there's a lot of people that are interested in other traders, and it's not just ICT traders, right? It's anybody that wants a live stream. If you're good at what you're doing, I'm a trader that is set in my ways. I don't want to learn anything else, but I love watching other people trade. Like, I love it. Like, to me, there's nothing else better than that. I'm not a sports fan, and to watch someone that would execute, use a stop, manage their stop loss, and take profit, and kind of like reveal what they feel while they're in a trade and what they think, how they're thinking about the trades, what I'm more interested in. I watch that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, there isn't enough of it. And I'm trying to foster this mindset in my own community where I can't watch everybody, obviously, but I'm hoping that the things I'm teaching here will inspire some of you to do more of that. And if you make an income or a secondary hustle where you're getting a little bit of ad revenue while you're doing what you're doing, and I'm not saying teach my stuff. I've already said that none of you should be even teaching because you don't know. But if you want to reveal how you use what I taught, you're not trying to be a mentor. You're saying, I'm not trying to teach it. I'm just saying, this is what I do, this is how I trade with it. Well, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Because you're not trying to do something you're not equipped to do, but you're doing something that you're used to using the information with. That's not teaching. You're just demonstrating prowess with it. And to me, that's a better thing to do, because anybody can repeat what I've said and sound smart. But when you're actually doing it, you got a nod from me. Like that's the real one. The people that are out there teaching, they're behind the wall of safety because they can talk about it conceptually. But when you're out there just trading and that's your whole thing, like, I'm just trading, there's no shame in that. And nobody can say anything bad about it. Nobody can, because you're out there doing it. You're making or breaking in front of everybody. And if you're making money, people are going to come here and watch you. And it's easy. It's very, very easy to get $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month with just a steady live stream of this is what I'm doing. And who wouldn't want to do that? Because the tax treatment that Caleb can use while he's working a job, he can't write off his car insurance right now. But with a YouTube channel, he can. So he's got to pay that regardless. So why not get a tax write-off and lowest taxable income? Because his job income, he can't write that stuff off. Just like you can't do it either. When he buys food, he can't write that off. His cell phone bill, he has to pay it regardless. So why not be able to use it as a write-off when you have a YouTube channel? There's a lot of things that a YouTuber's tax treatment can do that a trader can't do. You don't know that because you're not financially literate, okay? The fact that he can have this as a business before he starts making big money in trading, he can start taking this money and put it into a Roth IRA up to $50,000 a year, and he can trade that $50,000 that's in a tax-deferred investment vehicle. So all the money he's making, instead of having to pay taxes every year on it, he can compound that bigger, and inside of 5 years, he can have 10, 20, $15 million and not even work hard to do it. But you don't know that because you're financially illiterate. So I get it. You have your preconceived notion because you're all intellectually smart because you've read other people's opinion about me or anybody else. But you have no idea what he's about to step into. And I'm reminding him that when I throw these numbers at him, he shakes his head. He's like, nah, it ain't going to happen. Like, literally, what makes you think that? You have no experience to say anything that said that can't be possible. But because he's never handled that money, he's never had that money in his hands that he's earned, it seems impossible to him. And that's the very thing that keeps most people from ever wanting to learn how to do this, from me or anyone else, because they think that it can't happen. He can take vacations that he's going to take anyway, so now he can write that stuff off. All he has to do is do one YouTube video while he's on vacation, quote unquote, and it's a complete write-off. Anything he eats is 50% write-off. So why aren't you all doing it? Why aren't you doing it? More people would love to see other students doing this, but it's not for everyone. It's absolutely not for everyone. And you have to have a thick skin, because if you allow the chat window to be open and the comment section open, you're going to a lot of trolls. And if you wear your heart on your sleeve out there, or if you take everything as an attack, it's going to make it hard. But you can literally build a channel and progress be shown to other people that you want to make it known. I'll watch it. I'll see it. But it'll help you meet your ends while you're getting better at it. There's no shame in that, man. There's literally no shame in that. And you'll see the people that are willing to do it, some people will progress faster than others. And you'll understand what I mean by you have to be comfortable with allowing it to happen at your own pace. Your own pace. And if you try to force it, it makes it harder. And it makes it longer. You think working harder and longer will shorten it. It's not. You have to budget your time doing it, because you burn out quick. It's a lot of stuff. It's very technical. And if you have a lot of baggage that you wrestle with, you already should make allowances for it taking a lot longer, because it's going to be hard for you to put down these things that you live with, that you wrestle with every day, that cause you problems in your personal life. You're either an angry person, or you're an insecure person, someone that clams up real quick and shuts down immediately, or you have trust issues. All these things, they manifest themselves. So I'm coaching Caleb like that, because when he was younger, he had to have counseling. He had to have that kind of stuff, because he has bipolar episodes as well. And it's hard for a child to wrestle that. And a parent can't fill that void, because they see the parent as, this is my guardian, this is my caretaker, and it's also my dad and my mom. So where do you draw the line with discipline, and also how to grow with the proper mindset and not feel like everything's abuse or neglect? It's hard. It's very hard. So I'm proud that he's made this decision. Like, I thought when he was like, I ain't worried about it, that was the end of it. It was going to have to be one of the other kids. Because I honestly didn't think he would want to do this or have the aptitude. And I mean, he's my son, I can say that. But I didn't think he was going to have the aptitude to do it. Because out of all my kids, he's different. He's different. But he was wild as a little boy. Like, he was like 100 mile an hour. Like, he had to have a short chain on him, because he literally was all over the place, 100 mile an hour. But intellect-wise, he's capable of doing it. But focus-wise, that was my concern. But now in the last couple of years, he's slowed down and matured. I think he's found himself as an adult. So I think he's equipped now to do it. So I'm anxious to see where he goes with it. I'm excited to see it. I'm all in. Like, I'm all in. And I'm hoping that he has the endurance to go through it. Because once he has a little bit of success, he will, like me, obsessively leech onto that and suck its marrow out and life's blood, and it'll feed him into his next stage of development success. And then that's exactly what it's like. You find your footholds and you climb up that mountain one step at a time. Nobody walks up to the mountain, looks at the top, and says, this is going to be easy, fast climb. You have to plan your route and make allowances for things not being exactly as you thought. So with that, probably got about 200 people watching still, if that. That was enough for today, Caleb, and I will touch base with you this evening once you get home and get settled, and we'll go over the charts. Until I'll talk to you then, be safe. Good morning. Good morning. It is a good morning. It's delicious, actually. Wasn't expecting that one, was you? Man, these glasses are amazing. I'm seeing so many more salty comments. This is great. This is awesome. I need these antagonistic individuals for my story arc. Like, I need that. Okay, it can't all be people supporting me, right? Where's the fun in that? Just give me a second here. I gotta make sure I get my laptop plugged in here so we don't run out of power. I'm only gonna be with you until around 9-ish, something like that today. But I'll observe the non-farm payroll with you today. Just give me a second. I'll be on mute for a minute. Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is your host, the ghost with the most. That's right. Good old ICT. Hope you're doing well. It is non-farm payroll Friday. Just about 8 minutes or so away from the carnival ride that most retail traders want to be a participant in. They want to ride the roller coaster. So I shared what I've been doing here. I was running something I outlined would unfold this week. If you go back and look at the reviews, the commentary, the things I was posting on my son's channel, and for the folks that don't know where my son's channel is on YouTube, I'm sharing every video link on my community tab on my YouTube channel. If you're following me on the app on your phone on YouTube, I know that on my older phone, I couldn't get the community tab section up on the cell phone, but you'd have to go to like a laptop or something that's a little bit bigger. I'm not sure why it does that, but the community tab is kind of like where I post things to. I don't use Twitter anymore. I don't use Facebook. I don't use Instagram. I'm not on any of those services, but I use my community post or tab on my YouTube channel as a way of kind of like a message board, telling you what I'm getting ready to do, or just give you some kind of encouragement, or just needle the folks that need the little heat from ICT. So I realized while watching the playback for the editing, I didn't have the end dog on for today. So I'm going to do that real quick before we get into the tomfoolery that is non-farm payroll. So on a 1 minute chart there. And That's the 6 o'clock open right there. So that's going to be the low of the new day opening gap. And the close is that price there. So the high is the close at 459. And new day opening gap. High. And then we'll put this small. And then all you gotta do is just change that to low. Quick, painless. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, and then scrub on over here. She's a bit up there. And it's look how it's overlapping with the August 13th daily fair value gap high. That's interesting. I don't know about that. Let's see what we get here. So when you're looking at non-farm payroll, okay, I'm not enticing you to try to trade this, okay? What I like to use it for is I want to see what type of liquidity they aim for, okay? Before we get into it, non-farm payroll is not algorithmic, okay? That is not algorithmic. It is the same logic that is used in the automated form, but non-farm payroll like FOMC is a manual intervention. That means they literally pick where they want it to go abruptly, just like that, okay? And you're encouraged not to try to trade it going into the non-farm payroll number. 20, 30 minutes after, or if you're really, really skilled, 15 minutes after, so 8:45 a.m. Eastern time, that's the earliest I would say that anyone should try to trade the non-farm payroll. Now, obviously, if you're already part of a trade and you're holding something, then it goes without saying that, you know, if you have taken something off, you can leave a little partial on to see if it gives you a little bit more juice out of that lemon. But you do not want to be trading this, okay? If I were to trade every single non-farm payroll event before the fact, in other words, if I was trying to position ahead of it, I would have terrible stats because I don't know where they're going to run it next. I don't know that. You aren't going to know that. Just like I don't know where they're going to take FOMC. I don't know where they're going to take CPI. I don't know where they're going to take PPI. They're all manual interventions. That means that you should not be trying to position yourself ahead of them. Wait for the initial shock. Once that big crash, you know, comes down into the marketplace where the shock and all hits it, look and see what is left behind. Like, where's the smooth edges? Because that's what they're going to go for next. Okay, so in the times that you're going to be wrong about that, okay, well, that's just one time you're wrong about it. It doesn't mean your career's over. All right, so we got about 2.5 minutes. Let's take a quick look at what we have here. Let's do it on a 15-minute time frame. And what I teach my students to do is, and before I close, I'll review the trade that I just did, my Yujiro Hanma trade. That's my Yujiro profile and model. I'm being facetious. It's just me doing my typical stuff. One shot, one kill. I told you the turtle soup, how it forms. Told you what to look for this week with the commentary on the daily chart. And some of you were surprised, like, how did that happen? Where did you get that information from? All right, so we are inside this SIBI here. And let's define it real quick. Here's your sell side. And some of you are like, oh, well, you know,